Shalom again, everybody. Okay. As usual, it's time for that current event time. It's time to get into the rabbit hole. Let's get in and see what's out there that we may have overlooked, not seen, or been unaware of that's been happening and transpiring within the latter times that we're living in. So I'm gonna get into some. If I'm moving too fast, slow me down. If you need information regarding the links of where you can find some of this information, you can ask me after class, and we'll get into it. So, without further ado, let's start here. It says, new research finds music can be used to hack smartphones, computers, and cars. Now, go to Sirach 42:17 through 19. It said it can all be done through the manipulation of accelerometers, the motion sensing chips used in many electronic devices. New research has found that a number of electronic devices, including smartphones, laptops, and tablets, could be susceptible to being hacked whenever the user listens to music. Findings recently published by computer security scientists from the University of Michigan and University of South Carolina has shed light on the alarming possibility which could even affect the inbuilt hardware found in a modern car. Read Sirach 42, 17 through 19.
Verse 17, the Lord hath not given power to the saints to declare all his marvelous works.
So the Most High didn't give us the power to declare everything regarding his works. If he did, then there'd be no need for him. There'd be no more mystery regarding him if he gave us everything. So the Most High clearly was selfish and held back certain informations and things for us not to have access to, because he knows the corrupt minds of humans and the corrupt minds of Israel. The Sodom's children of Israel will take it and go the extra mile whether to turn it into complete wickedness. Read on.
Which the Almighty Lord firmly settled, that whatsoever is might be established for his glory.
Read on.
He seeketh out the deep and the heart, and considereth their crafty devices.
So the Most High knows about our enemies and their crafty devices, right? Because when you look at this, then you wonder why Esau establishes and gives out all of these free services for downloads of music. Tidal, Spotify, iTunes. Oh, they give it cheap, $10 a month. You can have every album, you can have every song. Some is free, some is... Why do you think he's giving you this? Because he loves you? Because he's fair? Because he's just and wants you to have the same access to things that he does? Okay? That's clearly not the case. Remember, there's always an underlining factor with it's involving him and free. When he speaketh fair, believe him not. The 7 abominations in his heart. A gift destroyeth the heart. Right? So this is the type of thing that he's doing. He presents a pretty package and makes it seem as though it's all good for you. Here, enjoy it. You want that favorite album from whatever artist you like? Go ahead. Oh, you like that car and it's got interface capabilities, Wi-Fi in the car and all that? Isn't that cool? You can tap your phone into it, everything's nice. But meanwhile, they're planting malware and spyware and everything else in there as we're listening to our favorite ratchet songs, bobbing our heads up and down in the car. And they're doing data mining and collecting information on you, your likes, and all and everything that they want from your devices. So the Most High said, I'm considering those crafty devices, but are we? See, he's created an environment in the world that you have to utilize the devices and interface with them, but you just got to be wise in everything that you're doing with them. But just know that the things that he presents as free, cool, and all of that, there's back doors in it that he's getting what he wants. Real.
He seeketh out the deep and the heart, and considereth their crafty devices. For the Lord knoweth all that may be known, and he beholdeth the signs of the world. He declareth the things that are past, and for to come, and revealeth the steps of hidden things.
Hold, you can drop that. Go to Jeremiah 23:24.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, and verse 24.
Let's start at verse 23 and then 24.
Verse 23. Am I a God at hand, saith the Lord, and not a God afar off?
So the Most High is acknowledged. He said, am I not the God that's close to your hand? I'm there. He said, I'm not far off. In our minds, we think, Most High, fourth dimension, he's way out, we can't see, touch, feel. Nah, he's like, I'm right there in the midst of everything you're doing. I know what's going on. Go ahead.
Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him?
See, that's the mentality and the power of the Most High. The Most High said, hey, can't nobody hide from me. I know, see, and do it all. But here we have the so-called white man with his God complex. This is his desire. I want to know the secrets. I want to know everything about you. I want to be able to get and data mine everything that you have about your lifestyle. So he creates apps, websites, and all this other stuff that we willingly volunteer and give him everything. And he says, thank you. I know what you ate last night because you took that picture and you put it on Instagram. I know I know your favorite club, restaurant, your favorite liquor. I know everything. I know everybody you've been flirting with online. I know who you have. He knows it all. So now the secret is where he's created a God complex mentality is he desires to have the same power of the Most High, but he only has it through technology. And he's only going to get what you give to him. And whatever you don't give to him, he's manufacturing ways that he can take it. Is that it? Go ahead.
Saith the Lord, do not I fill heaven and earth? Saith the Lord.
See, that's the Most High, but here we are, the so-called white man. He wants the same powers, but utilizes it in deceptive ways, the things that we utilize, in order for him to have this power. That was the last time I had a clip. Did anybody go see or rent or check out Snowden, the movie? I recommended it. Shamar, you the only one? Y'all are sleeping on that movie. Either that or you guys just don't like movies. It is what it is. But if you want the information, Snowden, you should go see that movie. Here's a real life dude right here. He gave his information there. Anybody knows about WikiLeaks? This is a website that was able to get access to thousands and thousands of government documents, and they published them. And a lot of the information went into everything from government elections, Hillary Clinton, the CIA's and the NSA's tracking and monitoring and spying capabilities on American people and whatnot. So they leaked out 8,700 documents, and he reviewed them and he said most of the stuff that they got on there is on point with what the government is capable of doing. And he was in the NSA, the National Security Alliance, at one point in time before he started exploring the opportunities to expose that America was illegally spying on American citizens and whatnot. So he became a whistleblower and started telling everybody what was going on, and they called him a rogue. He ran, escaped, and now he's wanted by the American government for spilling out secrets. But it says former NSA contractor Edward Snowden said on Tuesday that the WikiLeaks dump on what it claims to be more than 8,700 documents from the CIA Center for Cyber Intelligence looks authentic and is genuinely a big deal. WikiLeaks announced that its Vault 7 publication shines its light on the CIA's secret hacking program with targets around the world using malware that can bypass encryption protection in a wide range of devices, including Apple's iPhone, Google's Android, and Microsoft Windows, and even Samsung's TVs, which are turned into covert microphones. Since the document dump, WikiLeaks account has shared several pieces of information via its official Twitter account, including the one WikiLeaks #Vault7 confirms CIA can effectively bypass Signal, Telegram, WhatsApp, Confide, encryption. So these are all convenient apps that we use. WhatsApp, I know people I talk to like internationally trying to get information. That's one of the best ways to contact them. You use that app, you can contact anybody anywhere in the world for free. But is it free? you give it up something. Okay, now it said the CIA lost control of the majority of its hacking arsenal, including malware, viruses, trojans, weaponized zero-day exploits, malware, remote control systems, and associated documentation. So these are all the things that they're implanting in these devices: malware, spyware, trojans, viruses, and it said they're all weaponized, meaning they all are being utilized to take down and destroy through technology. Here's another thing that we see as we're moving more into the technotronic era, where AI and robotics are starting to take over. This is in Detroit. A rogue factory robot blamed for the death of a human colleague. As they're moving towards robotics to take over everything and to disable the human capability to earn income, these things are still not perfected in the fact of where they're killing employees, fellow employees. But see, that's what happens when you have a robot that's doing the work and then they have a robot to control the robot. So if the robot that's calling the shots has an error in it, gets hacked, they have control of the robots that's actually doing the work. Hence, Skynet, Terminator. That's what we're talking about. Eagle Eye. Anybody seen that movie? See, that's what Esau is constructing and trying to create an environment that can bring, what do they call it? Art imitating life, or life imitating art. That's what he's doing. So it says, a rogue robot has been blamed for the death of a woman killed in an accident at an auto parts factory in Michigan. Wanda Hallbrook, who worked as a maintenance technician at the Ventura, Iona Maine's plant for 12 years, was trapped by robotic machinery and pronounced dead at the scene in July 2015. The 57-year-old widower, William Holbrook, has filed a wrongful death complaint seeking damages from 5 robotics companies responsible for manufacturing, installing, and testing the robotics: Lincoln Electronic, Flexigate, Protomax, Fanuc, and Nachi. So, as you see, they used the picture from iRobot when the robots went rogue and started wilding out and taking over the people. So this is the type of environment that they're doing and trusting in technology to run the world. Even in the fast food industry. See, that's why you got to realize, eventually, he's going to create a way to where the jobs that we're employed by, our people, Israel, the lower income jobs where we got to work the fast food, grocery stores, you notice things are becoming more automated. You can go to the grocery store, check out yourself. All you got to do is just scan everything, go leave. Okay, so for anybody else who needs that job, eventually they're going to slide you out there. Pretty soon they're not going to need a human to do 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, and all of that for Big Mac. Okay, the robot's going to be able to do it. They ain't going to need you to do it. A secretive robot startup has raised a new round of venture funding as part of its quest to replace humans with robots in the kitchens of fast food restaurants. So when we're the ones flooded in there, making these, KFC and all this other stuff, those jobs are going to quickly and surely fade away. So when these are primary incomes for those that's in college, in school, trying to get by, whatever, those things are going to disappear. How are they going to survive now? The less educated or what have you, they're still needed in order to function, but when Esau's creating things to counter them and can work twice as fast and work just as accurate, they ain't gonna have no need for you. That's why if you're not locked in with these scriptures and have the knowledge, the wisdom to accelerate your thought process, you can forget about it, because he's already creating replacements for you if you are not trying to match and exceed what he's building. Read it on. Momentum Machine secured over $18 million in financing according to a SEC filing. So notice it said that this is a project for venture funding. So they're looking for funding to continue on with the project. So it's only about a time before some of these investors and these companies say, you know what, I want to try that. If I can spend $1 million to get the robotics into my Wendy's, And the production is 3 times faster than me paying minimum wage to these few workers, and I don't have to pay insurance. I don't have to cover medical, none of that. Okay. I'd rather do that and invest that than hire these people. Let them go figure out life. So they're getting money. It's $18 million they've already secured in May. The startup has generated investments from top VC firms, Google Ventures, and Khosla Ventures in the past. In 2012, Momentum Machines debuted a robot that could crank out 400 made-to-order hamburgers in an hour. You can't get 400 jakes to make one hamburger in a damn hour. So this is what they're looking at. And now, because we're living in an accelerated society where everything is based on a microwave, I want it now, information gathering now, I want my food now, I want the traffic light to turn green, I want everything at the fingertips, we're spoiled. They're creating an environment saying, well, we'll keep up the pace, don't worry. But that means you can't have a job. That means she can't have a job. We'll have to get the robots in there. That's what he's working towards. Here, autonomous vehicles with no human backup will be put to the test on publicly traveled roads as early as next year in what may be the first attempt at unassisted autonomous piloting. Automotive electronics and parts maker Delphi and French transport company Transdev plan to use the autonomous taxis and a shuttle van to carry passengers on roadways in France. The companies on Wednesday said they plan to combine Delphi's self-driving technology with Transdev's knowledge of mobility operations. Transdev operates trains, buses, ferries, and other transportation services in 19 countries, including the U.S. So, with this being said, Uber, they ain't gonna have no need for you. What's the other one? Lyft, they ain't gonna have no need for you. Taxis, they ain't gonna have no need for you. Trains, they ain't gonna have no need for you. Everything they're trying to move towards autonomous, with no human control, everything robotic, based on a regular route. They're programmed to go up, down, back, forth, turn right, turn left, pick you up. What's the name of that movie? Total Recall. Where they had the little robots, taxi drivers rolling around. They meet and greet you. Hello, sir. Where would you like to go? And that's all you got to do. Pay for everything in advance. They already got it now. Look with the, all the food services that they need you to go pick up and drop. You don't want to leave home? Or don't leave home. We got the restaurants already on call. We'll have somebody come drop it off for you. Pretty soon they ain't going to need that. They just going to need an autonomous car to get it, drop it in there. You already paid for it on the phone or online. They go drive it over there, beep the horn, you go pull it out the car, get your stuff and go. So everything that he's doing is almost like we're the beta test to see if those services work. And then once they realize it's effective, it's a demand for it, people will use it, we can take out the human element, let's put the robots in there and go ahead and do it. Here we go. Lust of the flesh, lust of life. We covered that earlier, right, brothers? Nike, Adidas adding robots to supply chain to deliver shoes customers want faster. You see? We are fighting just to get Nikes and Adidas faster. We can't even get shoes as fast as we want them. New Jordans is out, we want them right now. Amazon had to step up. You want Amazon Prime? We'll get it to you the next day. Same day. Okay? Because people can't wait. We want it now. So what's that mean? Okay, well you're going to get out the sweatshops. We'll put some robots in there so we can get the stuff out there faster to you. Because we become more demanding about what we want. Nearly 20% of production for Nike, Inc. and Adidas shoes will move to more automated factories by 2023 due to a buy now, wear now shopping environment forced by the shift to e-commerce, Morgan Stanley forecasting. Even Whole Foods, they just got bought out by Amazon this week. $18 billion. And that's only because we lazy. I don't want to drive to Whole Foods. I don't want to go stand in the lines. I don't want to go shop. I just want my stuff. It's easy for me to go online, give me my credit card, and have it dropped off to me same day. And for us in the hood, we got to travel to go to Whole Foods. There ain't no Whole Foods around us. Trader Joe's, now please. So now, oh, well, we'll give you more access to it. Don't move. Sit where you're at. We're at your service. All we need is that credit card number, and we'll have it dropped off for you. That's where they're moving toward, because we want it now. Many places, plants will likely be proprietary, cutting out the need to rely on outside manufacturing and potentially giving the companies a leg up. A faster supply chain will help the athletic segment keep up with what the industry also calls fast fashion demand from shoppers. The age of the bionic body, from robot hands controlled by your mind to electronic eyeballs, experts reveal 6 medical marvels introduced by new technology. So we talked about the term transhumanism. That's what Esau is working on at this point, is merging man with machine, flesh with machine, cyborg technology. Back in the 70s and 80s, they had a show, Bionic Man, Bionic Woman, Steve Austin, you know, astronaut that got blew up trying to take off, and they reconstructed his body with robotic parts. He became a bionic man and, you know, wannabe superhero. All those things he's doing now. So art is imitating life, most definitely, and he's removing out the spiritual element of even understanding scripturally how we're supposed to be locked in, and making our minds be more focused and faithful in tech than it is the Spirit of the Most High. Case in point, here. Dallas police is shuffling resources again to combat a spike in drive-by shootings that the police chief blamed on gang warfare, often fueled by social media. And I covered that 2 months ago. How these jakes is running around out here, banging on Facebook, Instagram, and all this other foolishness, and then wondering why death rates are rising up. Because they ignorantly are living in a false reality and thinking like the internet is real life. That's the problem, is they plug into this matrix and this false reality, and they live avatar lives and thinking it means, thinking that that's real. That you can go on there and you can talk about where you at, and F you, this, that, and the third, and come see me, pull up, I'm right here. And then when somebody does, it's a problem. Then when the police catch you, man, how did they find me out? Well, because they watching your dang social media, you stupid. And they think ain't nobody else watching besides their, quote, friends. Because you got 500 friends on the internet, they're your friends. This is why we see the foolishness going on that's happening right now. Go to Deuteronomy 20 and 54. Social media. So far this year, 122 drive-by shootings have been reported compared to 49 during the same period last year. Why is that? Because they've opened up even more gates of social media for Jakes to run around here, spread, share, like these videos. And they get transferred onto different platforms. So I'm going to start off in Instagram. Somebody done uploaded it to YouTube. YouTube, they're going to upload it over to whatever the Snapchat. So now they spread even more poison, more wickedness. Death rates increase because they're utilizing this false system of communication to solve their issues or create issues. 2854, go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
So as the curse of Israel, when we were abiding by law, statute, and commandment, you know, we had true love, sincerity, care for our nation. Didn't mean that a man was a sodomite, a soft, or whatever. It means that he had genuine love, sincerity for his people. Tender and delicate, meaning sincere, upright love for his brother. He said once that ceased, his eye now was going to be evil toward his brother. So you're going to have intertribal warfare between the northern and southern kingdom tribe. You're going to have gang warfare. You're going to have all kinds of issues going on. Adultery, fornication, brothers getting killed over women. All of that stuff is happening now because of the fact that we did not keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. So So his eye now is evil towards his brother. So now it's very simple and easy to go see somebody talking foolish on the internet, and then it ends up turning and escalating into something real life. Go ahead. Was that it? Go ahead.
And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead.
See, and even social media creates strife within the household. Because now you done got busted with DM messages and all this other foolishness. Because you're caught in this little world of catfish. Okay? And you're trying to find that next little thing to bite. And before you know it, it invades your house, and now you got evil towards your wife, your household, you're going to leave your children. All of these things are susceptible when you're utilizing these platforms for wickedness and not for righteousness. It's the ends to justify the means. You want to push the truth, you want to push a message of righteousness and truth. Hey, that's a good way, you're going to reach people. But when you're utilizing it for the ways that they want you to do it, you're only doing nothing but continually destroying our nation. See, the CIA said that they've already embedding coercion with Google, MySpace, Facebook. They already in coercion together. They said that they can solve 80% of their crimes just off of social media alone. They don't have to do nothing but log on the pages, track your friends and all of that. And next thing you know, they can solve crimes easily because we are vainly going out there just offering up information. So as we move into more automated, robotic lifestyles, we're going to see more of these. Venezuela, economic collapse. Puerto Rico, economic collapse. Various states. Illinois is about to file bankruptcy as a state to join Detroit and other economically challenged states. Okay? So it's in Puerto Rico. The exodus is speeding the island's economic collapse because the island is over $70 billion in debt. People are running. They can't even pay I read that article a couple months ago. Can't even pay to have the trash removed. And it's completely toxic areas in neighborhoods in different parts of the island and where people have to live amongst the garbage because they can't destroy the landfills and pay workers to do it. So people are leaving. They're running up out of Puerto Rico because of the fact that the whole economy is collapsing. Tourism, all that is down. The population drop is astonishing. The island has lost 2% of its people in each of the past 3 years. A comparable departure from the 50 states would mean 18 million people moving out since 2013. About 400,000 fewer Puerto Ricans live on an island of 3.4 million today compared with a decade ago when its economy began contracting. The departures have trapped Puerto Rico in a downward spiral of grinding recession with joblessness at 11.5% and 74 billion mountain of debt that pushed the island to insolvency has made collecting takes key to an economic rebound. At the same time, more Puerto Ricans from all walks of life are moving away to better their lives, meaning government revenue is dwindling. So what you're going to end up seeing once they completely break it down, then you're going to get the IMF and the International Monetary Fund and all them come back in there, offer up loans, buy up the whole island, and then they're going to be privately owned by corporations and banks that's going to completely put the people in more captivity and servitude. Once they completely break it down economically, they come back in there, offer money, build it up, input leaders and government officials that they want and can control, and now they've got another place that they're going to dominate with more wickedness. So Puerto Rico, they're in trouble. But look here, we ain't too far off. Go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 5, we'll read 11 and 12. Almost half Americans died nearly broke. I thought this was a land of opportunity. Milk and honey, prosperity. Okay? All your dreams can be fulfilled, you come to America. White picket fence, 2-car garage, the house, and all that. Meanwhile, that's all an illusion because they set up an economy and they set up a way to where they made nothing but debt slaves. We're essentially all working, slaving for free. We don't have the financial literacy to try to create and establish wealth. It's a joke that Chris Rock said. He said he was rich, but he wasn't wealthy. Esau lives by a mentality of wealth. Wealth means it's generational. That means your great-grandson and his great-great-grandson, they're straight. Because the money's long. For us rich, that means I'll probably take care of me and my kids. After that, I don't know what's going to happen. But when they've set up an economy that entraps you in debt, and it lets you know on there, mortgages, credit cards, student loans, personal loans, auto loans, all of those things are things that help contribute to dying broke or nearly broke. So you can die, and most of those companies are still going to collect whatever you owe them before you're absolved with debt, or it's going to go transfer over to your next of kin. Credit card debt, now, they've already created an environment to where you can't even survive unless you establish credit. They don't want to deal with you unless you get credit. And you say, I don't want credit, I don't want that, just jack me. Well, guess what? You ain't going to get no house. You're not going to be able to rent an apartment because what they got to do? Credit checks. You want a car? Credit check. You ain't got established credit? Sorry, we can't deal with you. But I got cash. That's not good enough right now. We need to establish reputation, credit first. We need you in debt to the system, okay? Other than that, we don't want to deal with you. Read that, 2 Esdras 5, 11 and 12.
Verse 11. One man also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee?
See, eventually it's going to get to the point in a lot of times where righteousness is going to have to be sought out. Because all the methods of the ways that we've been trying to establish and find ourselves prospering in this land, it's not going to work. You got to have the righteousness, you got to have the law, statutes, the commandments to back up your lifestyle. Go ahead.
And it shall say, no.
No. Why? Because people are entrapped in wickedness, entrapped in their own little worlds that's been built up by the so-called white man. Ready?
At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper.
See, and that's where we end up working ourselves to the bone, killing ourselves just to live, to all have nothing in the end. Go to Haggai 1 and verse 6. Haggai 1 verse 6. Americans aren't known for being great savers. In a recent Go Bank Rate study, 69% of adults admitted to having less than $1,000 in the bank, while 34% said they actually don't have any savings at all. But apparently the collective lack of savings doesn't get all that much better with age. A study by the National Bureau of Economic Research found not so long ago that almost half of Americans die nearly broke of the general population. 46% of the retirees die with savings of $10,000 or less, but that number climbs to 57% among retirees who are single. Now, this is for people who had established jobs, trying to get retirement funds and all of that other stuff, and they still didn't meet the mark. So imagine that for the average Joe Schmo Israelite in various economically impoverished areas. You can best believe we fit that mold or exceed that percentage. Dying broke. Read that, Haggai 1 and 6.
Verse 6. Ye have sown much, and bring in little.
See, we sow much. We put in a lot of work. We help establish, build up corporations, companies. But what we reap is very little. Go ahead.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
See, none of us is going on shopping sprees, filling up the refrigerators with everything we want. Because if that was the case, we all would be having the best of the herbs, best of the vitamins, best of the organic vegetables, so forth and so on. But we can't do that. We're going to El Super. We're going over here to Ralph's in the Hood, Food for Less, buying food that's already been picked over in the better neighborhoods, and then they get dropped off to us with a week-long expiration date. As we get the seconds of the first from the elites in our neighborhoods, or in our cities, I should say, because they ain't in our neighborhoods. Go ahead.
Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
Go ahead.
Ye clothe you, but there is none warm.
Mm-hmm.
And he that earneth wages earneth wages to put them into a bag with holes.
A bag, well, you know that slang now about getting the bag, the bag? That's your bag, Israel. A bag with holes. Secure the bag. I gotta get this bag. Your bag is empty. Okay? The Most High said your bag is gonna be full of holes, because as soon as you get it, it's going right out the door. You're gonna give it right back to your oppressor. We think we're independent. We think we're making money. We think that we're successful. Why? Because you can pay a mortgage, you're paying back. Because you can drive that car that you leased, or you rent, or that you bought and financed, you're paying back. You don't know. You got a job? Okay, cool. But they're taking them taxes, they're getting their money off the top. You ain't getting it. You gotta buy food, clothing, shelter. You're in school, you gotta buy books, everything's going right back. Paycheck is a peace of mind. To let you know, your 2 weeks that you work, oh, it paid off, money's there in my account, cool, now I can pay my bills. Now you got that little peace of mind that, whew, okay, I'll be able to pay my rent, I can pay my car note, my insurance, I can go buy some groceries, I can go get a little bit of something to drink, I can do. Meanwhile, the cycle continues. So they created a whole, look, even retirement, Social Security, that was established, I think, in 1920, something like that, when the Federal Reserve was established and Social Security was set up. They set the age at what the life expectancy was of men and women. So if they didn't expect you to exceed 60 years old, retirement would be set at 60 years old, because most people was dying at 55, 58. They said, well, they ain't gonna get this, they ain't gonna get the money anyway. And if you notice, they raise up that year all the time. Now it's 65. Now they're talking about 67. Okay? So those that's working, if you're in your 20s, by the time you get to retirement, they're gonna say retirement's like 70 something. Who the hell still wants to be working at 70 something for your oppressor? You 20, you said, I got 50 plus more years of working before I can retire. And if I ain't got my act together, I may not even fit the qualifications to have a savings to live off of. So imagine when economies rise, what you're considering savings now won't be the same 20 years from now. So are you really prepared to survive in the future? This is why you need a saving. This is why you got to lock into these scriptures and say, this can't be life. This can't be all. This is all I got to look forward to? No, it's got to be more. And I'm deserving of it. Only if you keep up commandments you are. If you still wicked as hell, the Most High said, no, you can get everything you asking for out there. So dying broke. That's how they got it. Over half. There's only some that actually escaped. Go to Hosea. Hosea chapter 4, let's read 1 down to 3. Now we'll get into a little bit of environmental things. Little things that's prophetically being spoken of and shown through the scriptures as far as the environment.
Book of Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel.
So the Most High is always making it clear who He is addressing. The children of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. This word was being addressed to you. Read.
For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
So the Most High is a controversy, strong disagreement. He's got an issue with what's going on in the land. Read.
Because there's no truth.
Truth isn't being established and told. You can have religion all day, but that's not true. You can have philosophy all day, that's not true. You can have science all day, that's not true. Okay, so the Most High said, there's no truth in the land. Truth is what? The law, statutes, and commandments. Psalms 119, 142. He said the laws, the commandments, the righteousness, the discipline, the order, that's not being set up in the land. Read.
Nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
Okay, no mercy. So the children of Israel still being mowed down in the streets by the police. Still running around here unmercifully killing each other, utilizing social media apps to set people up. Lord, knowledge of God in the land. Again, you got plenty of religion, you got all that, but it's not knowledge. So without that, the Most High said, well, I've got a problem with that. How does he deal with his problems? Read.
By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery.
See, that's the norm now. That's what's promoted. Listen to your favorite song on the radio. Listen to watch your favorite show on TV. All of those things are being promoted and being acted out in real life. Read.
They break out, and blood touches blood.
Read.
Therefore shall the land mourn.
See, even the land has mourning. This earth is alive. It's real. Okay? And it's a source of survival. But I said that even the land is mourning. Read.
And everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish.
And it's going to start languishing off the resources that it gives. So when you read even in Isaiah 24, I think it's verse 4 through 5, say that the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. So now it said it's going to start languishing. The earth is even supposed to have a Sabbath every 7 years. It's supposed to be resting so that it can actually start replenishing the nutrients and the minerals necessary for us to survive off of. But as the land keeps getting constantly polluted, plummeted, built upon, destroyed, infested with toxins and all that, it said now it's going to end up languishing. So the white man said, well, you know, that's okay. I got my GMOs. I can go ahead and genetically splice what I need. I can lab rat create whatever I want, and I'll feed it to the people. And I got laws that says I ain't got to label it and tell you what's in it. Just eat. Read.
With the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away.
So we see a mass dying off of fish earlier this week. Reported 23,000 turtles, seabirds, and dolphins have been found dead during the past 2 years along the seacoast of Santa Catarina and Sao Paulo, Brazil. Another 2,500 were rescued in poor health conditions and collected for treatment. The main causes of death have been the ingestion of garbage and accidents with fishing nets, varying according to species. The biggest victims are the green turtles, the little small migratory seabirds, the porpoises, and the gray dolphins. Also on Saturday in the South China Sea, a massive die-off of fish in the Languishi, China. You got dead gannets washing up on the shores of southern Maine and Massachusetts, and have raised suspicions that a toxic algae bloom could be to blame. What else do we see here? More dead fish in Italy, by the thousands. Dozens of cattle killed by mysterious disease in Karachi, Pakistan. So again, we're seeing that the beasts of the field, the fish, 600 plus cattle died in Quintana Roo, Mexico, earlier this week. This is all June, June 18th? So within the last 2 weeks, all of these happenings have happened with the dying off of livestock, fish, birds, etc. in various places throughout the country, which lets you know what these prophecies are saying, with the earth languishing, the destruction of the resources even for the animals and whatnot. They're dying off. So what's that mean for the food supply for us? Shortage. Okay? So when Christ talked about there be famines in the lands, now you're going to see how those things are going to come to pass. Tons of fish dying. How about this? Earthquakes, diverse places. 6.9 in Guatemala the other day. Okay? It's the fourth major quake of June. Fourth in June. Can you imagine? California, we ain't got hit with an earthquake in a while. And I don't want to talk it up. I want to make sure I'm ready. But you already know, this place right here is set for something humongous. Now, can you imagine? This is the fourth quake they've had this month. 6.9? That's almost 7.0. That's real destruction. Okay? That's in Guatemala. Bangladesh, 77 buried alive as they slept with many more missing in Bangladesh just 2 weeks after 300,000 people were evacuated from Cyclone Mora. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, 13, 1-2. So the earth now is fighting back. Earth language in the earth is like, you know what, I'm sick of this. And the Most High said, don't worry about it. I got spirits created for vengeance. Fire, teeth of wild beasts, winds, hail. So when the Most High starts laying down judgments, Esau conveniently decided to call it Mother Nature. But we know these are judgments that the Most High has to bring forth so that the children of Israel can be delivered. Go ahead and read that. Wisdom of Solomon 13, we'll read 1 and 2.
Verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of the Most High, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is, neither by considering the works that they acknowledge the workmaster.
See, they don't acknowledge the Most High. It's Mother Nature. It's Cyclone Mora. That wasn't no, it's the Most High. That's what it is. Read on.
Verse 2. But deem either fire or wind.
See that fire, that big building that collapsed and got burned up over there in London? Hundreds of people died over there. Women were throwing their babies out the window hoping that they survived. That's fire. That's the Most High. Go ahead.
Or the swift air, or the circle of the stars.
See, the swift air, the cyclones, the hurricanes, the tornadoes. Read.
Or the violent water, or the lights.
Go ahead.
Or the lights of heaven, to be the gods which govern the world.
See, and then they end up turning it into gods. The nations say, well, that's the God of such and such. That's the God of thunder. That's Thor. That's it. No, that's the Most High. As they try to discredit the Most High's power. That's why the Most High started rolling and destroying these nations. Heavy monsoon rains and landslides have killed at least 77 people in southeast Bangladesh, burying many of their homes as they slept. Authorities said on Tuesday, 3 young children from the same family were among those killed in a disaster, which comes just weeks after a cyclone battered the area, destroying camps housing thousands of Rohingya refugees. Police warned that the death toll would likely rise as emergency workers reach remote parts of the Chittagong Hills where telephone and transport links have been cut. You see them pulling up them legs about that mud? That's serious. And that's the power of the Lord. Go to Joel chapter 3. This one's interesting too. At Yemen Sabian Hospital, cold black is an understatement. Patients sleep 3 to a bed on the bare floor or outside in tents as cholera brings a country torn by war to its knees. 6 weeks into the second outbreak of the deadly disease in less than a year, at least one patient checks in at the Sabian every 60 seconds, leaving staff unable to cope. Did you hear that? Every 60 seconds somebody's checking in. The cholera epidemic is bringing war-torn Yemen to its knees as experts predict 250,000 will contract the disease in the coming months. But I'm going to point out something to you. Read that Joel 3. You can start at, then we probably should just get right to the point. We can try to get it going. Start at verse 4.
Joel 3 and 4.
Actually, start at verse 3. Then read down to, probably read down to 8. But go ahead.
Joel 3 and 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink.
So this is understanding the prophecy of the triangular slave trade and the parties that was involved. It said that casting lots for the people, that's auctioning off, bidding for human cargo. Giving a boy for a harlot, meaning that they were treating boys as harlots. They were utilizing them as sex slaves, sodomizing young boys, selling girls for bottles of wine and whiskey that they might drink. Read.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
Tyre and Zidon, capital cities of the African nations, of the Canaanites. These were Africans that was involved in this. Read.
And all the coasts of Palestine.
The coasts of Palestine being the Arabs. Okay, so we talk about the parties of the triangular slave trade, the Arabs, the Africans, the so-called white man, all in cahoots in selling the quote black gold of West Africa. Southern kingdom. Go ahead.
And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head.
So the Most High said there is no recompense, there's no payback, there's no apology that you can offer. He said as soon as you try to offer it, I'm throwing it right back in your face. Vengeance has to take place. Read.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
Read.
The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians.
Unto the Grecians, the white man. Okay, read. So when you hear about that, well, blacks are selling black, Africans are selling Africans. No, it wasn't no Africans selling Africans. It was Africans selling black Jews.
Thank you.
As human cargo, slaves to our oppressors. And the Arabs started it. So they ain't escaping. Read.
That ye might remove them far from their border.
And they did that. We've been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Mainly over here in the Americas. North, South, Central America, the Caribbean islands. Read.
Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head.
Go ahead.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it.
What did we just read in verse 8 that resonated? But who? What people? The Sabians. What was the name of the hospital? Huh? Is this book real or not?
Yeah.
At Yemen Sabian Hospital. Okay? You want to know who they are? Where is Yemen at? Yemen is northeast of Ethiopia, south of Arabia. Those are your enemies. Those are your people. So the scriptures already acknowledge this. And he gave you, and he said, this is who they are. But guess what? I'm already starting to get them for you. 250 million of them, I'm gonna wipe them out with this little disease. Write down 1 Chronicles 1:19, and that's going to give you the genealogy as far as them being of the seed and sons of Cush, the Ethiopians. See, they've expanded over there from Ethiopia to Yemen. Still in cahoots over there with the Arabs. Most of them is all Muslims. And they played a part in scattering the destruction of our people. Reading on, next article. CNN presenter Reza Aslan has been heavily criticized after he ate part of a human brain while filming with the Hindu cannibal sect in India. That CNN, major news network, broadcasting cannibalism live. Why are they doing that? To normalize it, absolutely. To desensitize you to any moral or dietary law at all. The episode part of a series called Believer with Reza Aslan has shown on Sunday and provoked horror and dismay from many viewers in an angry backlash by Hindus in America. Why are they angry? It's, your religion, your people is practicing this. The facts is clearly on video. Why are you mad? Because they got exposed and that happens amongst a sect of your believers? This is why the Most High said, don't deal in that. Hinduism, Buddhism, stop doing your little transcendental meditation when you're doing your yoga, because you're tapping into all of this foolishness that these heathens is into. And you love it, thinking it relaxes you. Okay? You don't know what kind of spirit you're conjuring up. Tulsi Gabbard, the only Hindu in Congress, tweeted, I am very disturbed that CNN is using its power and influence to increase people's misunderstanding and fear of Hinduism. There ain't nothing to misunderstand. The damn high priest was sitting there eating brain and told the dude to eat it too. What can you misunderstand about a live video seeing that? But the idea is to normalize it, make it acceptable, and not offensive. When they told me about this, I was disgusted. Rompers. 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. As this becomes the new normal, See, we thought we escaped, finally got out the skinny jeans. They amped it up even more. They doubled down and said, well, you know what? We're going to see how far these men are willing to go. If fighting for leggings with women in the stores wasn't enough, now you're going to wear rompers too. As everything is in the visual. You see him pointing? You're next. This is for you. Okay? That's how they do subliminal messages through their visuals. 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Go ahead and read that. Yeah. Where? That's a woman and a man. The title says, who wore it better? See? Same outfit. He stepped it up with the boots or whatever the hell he got on. And his little man purse is out of control. 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Let's read that.
Verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High?
So these are all acts of unrighteousness that the Most High said. And there's no kingdom coming to them. I don't care what Pastor Portop, Bishop Bucks, and all of them is telling you. It's not happening. Whatever rational and irrational thought that comes to your mind saying, that doesn't matter, God's going to accept me anyway. You can forget about it. Go ahead.
Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters.
Now he said, don't be deceived. Why could there be an element of deception? Because there's going to be doctrines that's telling you this is okay. Nothing wrong with it. It's trendy. I'm comfortable in my masculinity. I can wear this. What's wrong? You not? Maybe you gay as they flip it on you. Okay? That's what they're doing. So the Most High said, don't be deceived. Don't fall for the lies. Don't think that they can try to reverse psychology that's on you. Neither fornicators, nor idolaters, read.
Nor adulterers,
Read.
nor effeminate.
Nor effeminate. So not only does that cover, that's not just saying a man has to be a sodomite. That means if you have female tendencies or a propensity to act like, carry yourself, dress like a woman, you have no chance in hell to receive everlasting life.
Absolutely.
Question?
I just wanted to know, so this outfit in general is just an abomination. Like a man
Look,
or a woman should wear this.
not a woman. Oh, well, pants, obviously, yeah. I thought you just meant.
No, I'm talking about romper in general. No,
Yeah.
it should never even been.
Right. No,
I
absolutely
mean,
not.
other than the babies.
Well, good point. I'm going to get to that next. Go ahead.
Although you can convert the bottom part into a skirt.
You can cut the middle up, make your skirt. There's no problem with that.
Okay.
As it is an abomination, okay? As now they're in competition of who's wearing it the best. Effeminate will not see the kingdom of the Most High. Finish that up.
Nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
See, and then after the effeminate comes in, the next level is abusing yourself with mankind, sodomy. It only goes further as they thinking, oh no, it's just a trend. It's cool. Don't worry about it. As you mentioned, and write down Deuteronomy 22 and 5 regarding the law. You mentioned for babies. I remember this show. Any of y'all of age, you remember this show? Romper Room. This was a kid's show. And I thought about it, I said, why rompers? Then I'm thinking about Romper Room. I said, well, what are they trying to do? As you said, babies wearing this type of look. They're dressing you up as children, treating you like children, immature, devoid of wisdom and understanding children. Each program would open up with a greeting from the hostess and the Pledge of Allegiance. So romper room meaning they had an allegiance to America. You had to be tied in with Babylon. So now even Babylon has trendy clothes that you're going to wear. You are pledging your allegiance to wear and follow after this trend. Unless the episode was not broadcast in America. Did you hear that? You have to be in allegiance with America and its ways if you're going to follow along with the romper culture. Then the hostess and her group of children would embark on a 30 to 60 minutes of games, exercises, songs, and moral lessons, which were regularly accompanied by background music. The hostess or sometimes the children in cadence would always ask, Mr. Music, please, or we are ready, Mr. Music, to prompt the background music into playing. So it's tied in with the music, it's all tied in with trends, and you're begging to be programmed and controlled. Mr. Music, please. To prompt the background music into playing, the young cast was rotated every 2 months and ranged from 4 to 5 years old. The hostess was also served milk and cookies, giving little gifts. See that? We'll give you a free app. We'll give you this. Just stay locked in with us. And they said, with prayer be offered before eating. The famous romper room prayer, when God is great, God is good, let us thank Him for our food. Amen. That's from romper room. Many of y'all said that when you kids. You didn't know that came from romper room. That was a program that Esau gave you. God is good, God is great, let us thank Him for our food. Amen. Romper room. Okay? That's an old show from like the late 70s, early 80s. But now they see you as fashionable. See, look at him. That's why the Most High said that righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the ways of the wicked do what? And look at all them hands on their hips, head in the mud. But here goes Cam Newton. To make it cool, the big 6'5", 260-pound quarterback can make it fashionable and acceptable too. What do they do in Maccabees? You had to have wicked men that come out there and influence and tell you, we got to be like the Greeks. Let's get down with them. Go to their gymnasiums, work out with them. Follow after the customs of the heathen. So they implant some of these individuals. Hold your pointers on, we'll get questions later. Here's the next phase as they continue pushing the issue. If you're willing to wear a romper, how much further you gonna go? Lace pastel shorts for men. Zara put me under this one. I said, oh no. And they ain't got nothing about some drawers on under there. What's next? Yeah, but look at them, beards and hats and all. And the only one that's overtly trying to act like is the two on the end. Yes. To let you know. But see, this is where we headed. Now, look at this picture, look. Entertainment. Let's hear it for the red, white, and RuPaul. This is where America is going. This is where they want to go. Look, what they're showing you is the trannies is taking over America. The takeover is in full effect. You got the bullhorn to holler at you, pointing the finger to let you know it's going down. You better get with it. The Sodomites, they control the fashion industry. Look, you watch the damn model shows, there's Sodomites telling the women how to walk. Telling them how to be women, what to dress, how to wear. They dictate the fashion. Look at the entertainers, Nicki Minaj and all that. Over-the-top wigs, crazy makeup, big-ass eyelashes, okay? But who else does that? These drags. Enhancements, fake boobs, butt pads and all that. They are dictating what is acceptable. And the women, you better wake up and better get the hell out of that mentality. Thinking that's women. Because they coming in, wigs, they doing it. And they telling you, we're taking over. As they corrupt the whole essence of the rainbow. The Most High said, the rainbow, that was a covenant I made between me and the earth. That I won't destroy it. And they said, no, that's for us. That's going to represent LGBT. The Q? What's the Q for?
Weird.
Oh my goodness. Okay, it's out of control, clearly. Alright, and there's no end to the acronym. Because they're going to keep transforming more and more. But this is clearly letting you know they're going to do it, and they're going to do it through entertainment. You got to see the subliminals that they're doing. The TV, movie, fashion, all of that. When you get into the high-line designers, they're all sodomites. Versace, all of that. And who they get out there? You get these old dumb Negro backwood jakes talking about Versace. As you sit up there and say, well, I gotta get Versace then. And Versace's over there double dipping with his wife and man-child, whatever's going on over there. The sodomites is dictating everything. As they sit around here running behind Black Lives Matter and everything else, claiming they're victims. And they're running and controlling everything. Piggybacking as victims. Stop it. So we got to wake up and see what's going on. Yes, sir?
Go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, and verse 33. We see that all nations up front want to be like Israel, even in Israel's wicked ways. Even in Israel's wicked ways. But I just want to bring this out to show how strong and powerful we are in wickedness. Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 33.
Verse 33. Why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love?
Trimmest thy way to seek love. In other words, alter the truth. Alter the laws. Want everything to be fitted in to please you, which is wickedness. Talking about Israel here. Why trimmest your ways to seek love? In other words, to be accepted by these corrupt nations and their ways and their follies and what have you. But read.
Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways.
In our wickedness, we have taught the wicked one. Now, we're supposed to be a holy nation. But we've turned holiness, our people, because the ways of the wicked has seduced us. And you get a faggot Israelite, you're gonna outdo everybody. Everybody. What they say, flaming? Flaming. I'm just gonna be out. RuPaul, right?
And this dude about 6'7" too. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's tall old sodomite.
So all nations want to be like us anyway. So in wickedness, whether righteousness or wickedness, they all want to be like us. But we've outdone the wicked in his ways. The scriptures are telling us.
That's real. And then give them the moniker of drag queen.
Yeah.
A queen, giving them a position of rulership and authority. Okay? They gonna run with it. They judging beauty pageants. They telling you if you look good or not. They teaching you how to dance. You know, all of them dance instructors, all sodomites. Telling the women choreographers and all of that. I mean, they running it. So beware. They on the loose. Here they go. United Methodist Church appoints a transgender deacon. Now they've invaded the church. They're going to dictate and tell you how to worship. So not only will they control you mentally through entertainment and everything else, now even spiritually, religiously, they're going to tell you what's okay and what's not okay. The United Methodist Church, that means that it's the coalition of all Methodists. They all in agreement on this. So if you know family members, anybody who are quote Methodists, you better get them out of that immediately. Because they're going straight to hell. As you got the African Methodist, old Chip Murray's church up on Adams. They need to get up out of there. They don't even know what they're in alignment with. The United Methodist Church, you're right, they probably do. United Methodist Church commissioned a transgender deacon on Sunday, the first time an openly non-binary person has assumed the role. M. Barclay, a transgender person, notice they don't even want to clearly identify the person, because there's more of them in there. Transgender person who doesn't identify as male or female and who uses the pronoun they, look at the confusion, was appointed in the church's Northern Illinois Conference over the weekend. For so long, I've longed to be a pastoral presence in the world. But well, finally, their time has come. See, they've been waiting for the takeover. And certainly, you can do that without a collar. But we have ordination for a reason, and part of that is that I can publicly identify as a pastor now. Barclay told the United Methodist News Service. I'm done with that. Here's a, quote, outbreak of mumps. See, they use terms like that. 40 people get mumps, it's not an outbreak. When you say outbreak, you're expecting like hundreds, thousands to be infected. It's spreading, it's over. But it's because they want to still push a vaccine agenda. More than 40 people in Los Angeles County and surrounding regions have been diagnosed with mumps, prompting public health officials Thursday to declare an outbreak and issue an alert to physicians and providers to beware of it. So now they're using beware, outbreak, all these words. Now they put the fear in you. But peep this is how they got it spread though. But health officials said most of the patients are men who have sex with men. Okay? So is it the vaccines, the lack of vaccinations that's spreading? They don't talk about that stuff within the sodomite community. Leave us alone. We can love who we want to. You're causing outbreaks. That's the problem. And the majority of the cases were linked to patients being at large venues such as gyms. Remember that in Maccabees? Bars, gay bars, theaters. You know the fags love theater. And nightclubs. Some of the patients are women and heterosexual men who have social connections to men who have sex with men. So is it okay to, man, that's my gay friend, that's my gay homie. They got exposed because they was accepting of them and gave them a pass. The majority of the cases have had no documentation of complete vaccination. However, some cases were fully vaccinated according to their learning. So whether you had the vaccinations or not, didn't even matter. It's the sexual practices, the immorality of how they got it. And their friends getting it because they were cool with them laying up with another man. And there you go, the picture is to promote, obviously, they want to still get the vaccine agenda going. So while the trannies is taking over America, the sodomites is running rampant, the inmates running the asylum, warfare is still on the horizon. Matthew 24 and verse 6. Here's what's going on with Chinese troop movements on North Korea's border. As tensions climb into historic highs between the U.S. and its allies in North Korea, rumors of massive movements of Chinese troops near North Korea's border keep surfacing. Matthew 24 verse 6.
St. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of rumors of wars.
Wait a minute. As tensions climb to historic highs between the U.S. and its allies in North Korea, rumors of massive movements of Chinese troops near North Korea's border keep surfacing. Read that again.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
Quote, end quote, read.
See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass.
So in order to bring forth judgment, in order for the children of Israel to be reigning back on top as we should be, we have to go through these things. War has to happen. We got to hear the rumors. It's got to go down. So we're reading about the quote, rumors of massive movements, Chinese troops going to North Korea. A Pentagon official told Business Insider that the U.S. had heard the reports but had not seen anything to corroborate it. But Chinese troops are always stationed in the northeast near North Korea, and Yun Sun, a senior associate with the East Asia program at the Stimson Center, told Business Insider that Chinese troop movements happen often along the border when North Korean nuclear and missile provocations seem imminent. So as much as every time the North Korea starts talking about moving nukes and want to shoot something China mobilizes and starts getting busy. Stay in that same chapter as I read this next quote. 24 and jump over to the verse where it says no flesh will be saved. I think that's I want 24 and verse 22.
St. Matthew 24 verse 22. And except those days should be short, there should no flesh be saved.
So Christ was letting it be known. He said that the tribulation and the destruction that's to come, he said, except those times were short, no flesh will be saved. But what's the president of Russia saying? Vladimir Putin warns no one would survive nuclear war between Russia and the U.S. and it's bubbling between them. So he's already acknowledging if we go at it, everybody's done. Because I'm bombing, they bombing, everybody's getting wiped out. All the allies, everybody we align ourselves with worldwide is going down. And anybody that does survive the nuclear fallout, you can forget about it. You're going to die just from the radiation alone. It takes thousands of years just to cleanse a land from having been exposed to nuclear waste. Thousands of years. So even if you do survive, will nothing be safe to eat, touch, breathe? Nothing. That's why the Most High said, when this stuff starts bubbling, I gotta cut this short. Because no flesh is going to be saved if they go to war. And they're talking about it. In one of a series of interviews with American film director Oliver Stone, the Russian president said he believed nobody would make it if an all-out nuclear conflict, also known as hot war, broke out. Mr. Stone asked Mr. Putin, in a hot war, is the U.S. dominant? The Russian leader replied, I don't think anyone will survive such a conflict. So when Christ said that, he knew the spirit of the white man, what we was facing. The prophecies is clear that the technology, the power, and the destruction that can come with nuclear war, it will go right along with what Christ said. Once it cracks, he said, nobody's going to survive if I don't come in and swoop up that 1/3, 144,000, get out there and start judging the nations. It'll be over.
That's what it said next.
Go ahead.
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be short.
So before it goes to the point to where all flesh is destroyed, for the elect's sake, we'll be spared. So long as we stay diligent with the commandments and the fear of the Most High. Here's another one. Head of U.S. missile defense says North Korea missile advances a great concern. So it's all surrounding around Asia, all surrounding around the Middle East. The dragons of Arabia, as they're called in Second Esdras. So the warfare is there. Japan scrambles fighter jets to head off 6 Russian bombers flying towards its airspace amid rising tensions in the region following Trump's war of words with North Korea. So we're seeing all of the allies that America has between South Korea, Japan, Russia, China, they got all problems with each other. It's all bubbling and they're all kind of saber rattling, letting it be known, pushing the issue, tempting, trying to see. It's almost like you get shoved. Eventually, somebody's either going to shove you back, somebody's going to swing first, something's going to happen. But they keep poking pride just to kind of check the temperature. You really want to go there? Nah, leave me alone. I'm not ready to destroy everything. Stop pushing me. Send some more jets over there. Punk them some more. Before you know it, they're not going to have it. Somebody's going to bomb. And there's America's foolishness. Secret Service relaxes marijuana's policy in a bid to swell its ranks up. So the Secret Service is getting desperate. They're willing to relax the policy on weed so that they can recruit some more people. They said, well, if you were smoking weed, it's okay. We'll kind of bypass that in your drug screening. So now you're going to have dope fiends in there working for the Secret Service, spying, bugging, tapping your phone, doing all kind of, having access to all kind of stuff as they hide. The change to the drug policy was went into effect in the past month. So what that tell you is that if you got caught, if drugs come up on you in your drug test and it seems as though you was, 6 months ago, they'll let it slide. Okay, so what's that mean? I can start smoking after I get the job. Because you already know I smoke. So they're letting it slide so that they can swell up their ranks. Is an acknowledgement that marijuana is more prevalent in today's society. So they're buckling down. We talked about the weed in the last current event I did a couple months ago, with the effects that it has on the testosterone in the men, feminizing men, creating addictions. It's way more potent than it was back in the day, lowering your sperm count, all that other stuff. These hybrid strands that they're doing, getting these jakes out here strung out, zombified. You see them running into this little crackpot spot next door. Like they just can't live without it. They run to the doors now. Many of whom have experimented with the drug when they were teenagers, access to the hiring process. So they're going to try to say, I smoked it when I was younger. That lets you know how far back they can test your blood. Following the whole person concept in hiring, the Secret Service will no longer disqualify an applicant who has used marijuana more than a certain number of times, instead of potentially allowing a candidate who admits to using the drug, taking into consideration the time between his or her last use and their application to the agency. So it will be contingent upon the information that they want. If you say, yeah, off and on, I smoke. Last time I smoked was last month. If they like you, okay, no problem. If they don't, then that lets you know, they said they can tell how many numbers of times you're smoking too. But in order to get the Secret Service up, they're going to take weed heads. That's how desperate America is, and that's how much you know the foolishness is risen. Talked about organ harvesting a few months back. Broken-hearted mother still searching for answers nearly 4 years after her son was found dead in the California desert with his organs missing. So we know about the black market in India, China, Japan, Georgia, all over the place, where they're selling organs. Ryan Singleton, a 23-year-old aspiring writer and filmmaker, vanished in July 2013 after flying from Atlanta, Georgia to LA. He rented a car for a trip to Vegas, but as he drove through the Mojave Desert on July 9, 2013, his car broke down near Baker. I think it was Bakersfield. Singleton was picked up by a highway patrol officer and driven to a rest stop in Bakersfield. Now, the mother still searching for answers 4 years after her model son, 24, was found dead in California's desert with his heart, lungs, kidney, liver, and eyes missing. Get out. See that movie? Okay. That's what we're talking about. Get out. Go to Deuteronomy 28, 38 to 39. Desire for their labor rejected his neighbors. Farm workers in California face hostile communities. See, for my Hispanic brothers and sisters, they don't love you. You get these old fake liberals who run around here and act like they got your back, waving their American flag, land of the free, home of the brave. You're equal. You have a right to live too. They said all they want you for is your labor. They don't want to live by you. Read that, Deuteronomy 28, 38, and 39.
Verse 38, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in.
See, carry much seed out to the field, but gather little in. We go out there cultivating all these grapevines, strawberry fields, sugar cane, tobacco, all this other stuff, cotton, carrying all this stuff out of the field and reap little in. We don't get the benefits of it. Our people standing out here on the corners, chopping up fruit, giving little bowls. They don't own those. Selling fruits on the side of the freeways and all that other stuff. They're not getting any of those things back. Read.
For the locust shall consume it.
The locust, meaning the destroyers, the nations, the Esau, they're going to take it all. Read.
Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shall neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes.
See, everything's going back to them. All the wine that they shoot up there in Silicon Valley, going up on the 5 freeway, all those high-end, expensive wine, our people is not putting up our names and labels on them. Then you get these old fake rappers talking about my liquor, no. You get partnered in for a small percentage and you're the face of it to sell it. When the big companies is the ones who's actually selling and manufacturing. Don't be talking about that's my liquor. It's not your liquor. White man owns it. He cuts your percentage to use your likeness, to endorse it, to promote it, so that the people that is listening to your music, watching your movies will go buy it because they think that they're cool like you. They want to drink what the stars drink. I want to drink what Diddy's drinking. If it's Sirach, I'm going there. That's all that it is. But here we are. Our people's out there sowing much fields into the fields, grapevines. They're not harvesting, drinking, none of it. The urban farm homes, nestled along a cul-de-sac off an old farm road in Nipano, California, had lofted floor plans with more than 2,500 square feet of living space, perfect for multi-generational living. The advertisement boasts. Strawberry grower Greg French and his wife Donna had other ideas for the planned 7-home development. They would use it to host more than 100 workers coming up from Mexico to pick strawberries on their farms under an agricultural guest worker program. So what they did was these are what I said. They got these little fake liberal Edomites. Well, they'll give them a little housing community to live in so long as they're working to build up their empires. But the neighbors in the neighborhood don't want them there. They like, hell no. You got immigrants over here working. This is upper class, middle class, white neighborhood, and you're bringing these Mexicans in here. So they're fighting to try to get rid of them. That's why the Hispanics better recognize white man is not your friend. Thinking because he gave you a job to come pick strawberries, he's cool. That's so you gotta get out too. The little liberal white family, they're the wickedest ones. Smile in your face, stab you in the back, act like they cool, and meanwhile they plotting against you. So they don't have no real intention of using it. Speaking about housing, Rasa gave me this, what is it, Housing Urban Development HUD, Officer Next Door program. So HUD has decided to open up a policy to where they're going to offer single-family homes to law enforcement officers at a 50% discount. The Next Door program offers HUD-owned single-family homes to law enforcement officers at a 50% discount. It helps prevent crime and promotes neighborhood safety and security by encouraging law enforcement officers to become resident homeowners in economically distressed communities. Under the program, HUD offers homes located in designated revitalization areas in low and moderate income neighborhoods. Revitalization areas typically have many vacant properties and often high crime rates, but are considered good candidates for economic development and improvement. So meanwhile, they know that it's high crime, low income areas, but it said it's good for economic development and improvement. Well, why are they not investing money in doing that then? Oh, they are. They throwing in Starbucks. They're giving you your little pleasantries as the rents rise up, building up stadiums and everything else so that you can get the heck out of there. And they already are putting in police in the neighborhoods just so that they can police. Because as you read on later, it says that they want them to live in those neighborhoods at least 3 years. They have to be arresting officers in those particular jurisdictions. So they want them to be able to arrest, confiscate, do what they can to everybody in those neighborhoods for at least 3 years. They selling them at 50% off, $100 down, damn near giving them homes just so that they can stay in there, police you in your neighborhoods, and have the ability to arrest you. So they implanted police in the neighborhood, setting you up. They reaping all the benefits, getting property. They even can get loans to fix up the houses because many of the HUD homes is foreclosed or whatever, they need work. So they tell them, I'll give you a loan, you can fix that mug up, just get in there. Stay 3 years, get some arrests, and like we talked about, you see white folks walking all around, Watts, Compton, South Central. You're like, where are they coming from?
Officer Next Door. You see them walking through the neighborhoods, right?
Moving their families
In
in.
Watts, Willowbrook, Compton, Inglewood. What these white folks are walking in the neighborhood for? Officer Next Door.
There you go. There you go. Here's another little article. I'm going to read a couple more of them before the time runs out. Can attending church really help you live longer? This study says yes. So the scriptures, this article is letting it be known how the fact of being spiritually centered and coming into an environment that's going to actually draw you closer to the Most High will actually benefit you in the long run as far as lifelong expectancies. So, especially when you're doing it right, because remember Deuteronomy 30, the Most High told you, choose life that you may live. He said, I said before you, life and death, good and evil. Choose life so that you may live. So he's letting it be known, and studies now are showing that the closer you're drawn to the Most High, the more that you immerse yourself with His Word and prayer, the longer that you'll live. So the Most High didn't lie on that. That's Deuteronomy 30, 15 down to 18. And these next couple of slides, I'm going to prove the white man's a devil. Here he is right here. Trump backs permanent snooping powers he once criticized as abusive. What's the characteristics of a devil? The scriptures say, number one, that red serpent, the devil, well, look at him. His skin complexion is orange, red, okay? Satan, he's an adversary to everything that's right. He's got lies that surround his campaign. That's a devil, a deceiver. There's a numerous lies. He just lied right here. He wants increased permanent snooping powers, and we just got to read earlier about the WikiLeaks and all that. He went and backed it. As he used to say, they're using that against me. I don't like that. I'm going to limit the NSA's snooping capabilities. He went in there and said, okay, continue on. He's got a history of fornication, got baby mamas and all of that. Obsessed with money. What did Satan offer Christ? He said, all the kingdoms of the world is mine. All you got to do is bow down to me. I'll give you rule over everything. Proud, boastful. He fits it everything. Look at how he's got America divided. He's got this whole place on edge as if Satan was elected. People really, the devil is in there. We got to get rid of him. Look at that white man. He just ran over there at the baseball game with a bunch of Republicans. Shot him up. Just months after President Trump complained about being spied on by the Obama administration, his administration is embracing a full permanent extension of the secret snooping powers the government used to track conversation between his campaign aides and Russian operatives. So really, what was it? How are you going to complain about being spied on and all this other stuff, and then meanwhile you embrace the same technology to use it? Somebody's lying. Either that, or you want to continue on with the program that's been in place. Mr. Trump's intelligence and counterterrorism team said Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act has saved hundreds of lives by preventing terrorist attacks and insisted, despite Mr. Trump's claimed experiences, that law is not being abused. So now he went back on his word. That's the devil for you. He's red, he lies, he's surrounded with wickedness. Okay, so he fits everything in the mold. Look what he does to households. From disputes to breakup, wounds still raw after the U.S. election. This is an article about a couple that divorced because of Trump. So that ain't Satan dividing households? You tell me. Burning passions over Donald Trump's presidency are taking a personal toll on both sides of the political divide. For Gail McCormick, it is particularly wrenching. She is separated from her husband of 22 years. The retired California prison guard, a self-described Democrat leaning towards socialist, was stunned when her husband casually mentioned during a lunch with friends last year that he planned to vote for Trump, a revelation she described as a deal breaker. So she's basically like, look, you made a covenant with Satan. I'm out of here. I ain't seen this much divided problems within any president election in I don't know how long. But you would swear pure evil is in there and people is over there going crazy about it. Here it is. GOP Republican Steve Scalise is in critical condition after shooting. A sailor has died. Everybody heard about that earlier this week? The guy runs up there on the little baseball field with a little politician just practicing for their game. He going around asking who's the Republicans, who's the Democrats. Once he found out who the Republicans was, he started opening fire. Shot up this dude, this state Republican, Steve Scalise, and about 6 other people, I think. So when they're going up there, a civil war has already been declared. Read that Matthew 12:26. They fight amongst each other. They fight against you. It's all kind of badness going on. And it's all surrounded around him. They want to impeach him. They're trying everything to do to change the system. But guess what that means for us? 12:26. Read that.
St. Matthew chapter 12, verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
See, it can't stand. So long as the divide is there, the Republicans, the Democrats, the liberals, the socialists, stay divided, keep nipping at each other's heels, destroy each other, because Israel's going to rise up and take this kingdom. Okay? Here's the NRA. They were talking about head of the NRA in Wisconsin. They're having a debate over the law. They're trying to get open carry without having, or concealed carry, I should say, without license, training, or what have you. They want to be able to legalize it in Wisconsin. And one of the dude's arguments, the head of the NRA, his argument was that one of the greatest equalizers after the 1863 Emancipation Proclamation was firearm ownership for the blacks. When they still declaring you the blacks, what does that let you know that the NRA, how they motivate themselves and their thought process, which is one of Donald Trump's biggest lobbyist payers? Now, it says arguing for the bill for the bill to become law, Meyer added that minority groups are sometimes excluded from obtaining a concealed carry permit under current laws given the attendant training costs. So they letting you know that even though they can make a law that says it's okay to have a concealed carry, you can't afford it to qualify for the training. So Esau's gonna be the ones, but the concealed carry running around and you can't even get it because you can't afford the training. That's how they set up all of these false laws. I'm gonna pause there for any questions as we've been talking. If there's not any, I got a few more slides I can go through. Any questions so far? Any online? Nothing? Okay, let me continue on then. Remember we talked about this some months back. North Dakota pipeline. All the 10 tribes out there marching, picketing, fighting, getting hosed down, fighting to keep that pipeline sacred. And they won temporarily. Donald Trump came in, signed a deal and said, nope, Dakota Access Pipelines, full steam ahead, let's go. Thousands fought against the Dakota Access Pipeline. Now it's set to flow oil, and it has already started polluting the waters. In Star Wars, what is that? Star Trek, there was a little cyborg community called the Borgs. And their famous line was, "We are the Borgs, lower your shields. Surrender your ships." Resistance is futile. That's how Esau's moving. He's like, your resistance, your marching, your picketing is futile. It's useless. I'm gonna get and take what I want. Our people went through months on end of fasting, praying, getting sprayed down with biological agents, freezing cold out there, fighting to keep that pipeline sacred. For nothing in the end, because the board took over. That's why, we're not free. This is not your land. Your marching, fight, picketing will not suffice for anything. You have to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the only thing that's going to get us right. Here's a person to research. Iyaqar Ahmath. Iyaqar Ahmath. Why is he important? You want to talk about the devil? Here he is. Soviet biologists who developed a method for artificially inseminating domestic animals successfully created a hybrid horse by crossbreeding a zebra and a wild horse. Approached by Stalin, who was the ruler and the king of the Soviet Union, to create a super warrior by crossbreeding humans with apes. So when the Most High tells us about not crossbreeding and mingling seed and things like that, that's what he was doing. He created a method of artificially inseminating different animals and trying to crossbreed and make Island of Dr. Moreau. That's another good movie. The Island of Dr. Moreau. Mad scientist that was in there creating half human, half animal breeds of men, and they was calling him father, like he was their God. Until they went over and took over the island and killed him and went crazy. But here he is right here. But here's the problem. Here's what it did. It destroyed the idea of Darwinism, meaning that we came from apes, because he tried to crossbreed apes with humans. And the women died. He tried it with the men died. So our biological structures, our bloodlines, our physiology does not match. Ivanov also pioneered the use of artificial insemination to produce various hybrids, including that of a zebra and a donkey, a rat and a mouse and a guinea pig, and an antelope and a cow. His most radical experiment, though, was his attempt to produce a human-ape hybrid. He felt that this feat was clearly possible in view of how successful he had been in his animal experiments and how close evolutionary biologists then regarded apes and humans. The experiments were supported by some of the most respected biologists of the day, including Professor Herman Klatsch and Dr. F.G. Cruikshank. He first attempted to produce human male chimpanzee female hybrids, and all 3 attempts failed. Ivanov also attempted to use ape males and human females to produce hybrids, but was unable to complete the experiment because at least 5 of the women died. So where do they get these men and women from? You think they voluntarily are coming clean, saying, you know what? Yeah, I want to try to create the first human ape. These are victims of war, kidnapped, drug-induced, psychology. I mean, this is the type of stuff he's up to. And people say, the white man is okay. What's the matter with you? You hate him. Well, listen, look what he's up to. Who's going to stop this evil? As he's running around here creating all of these experiments, trying to create half ape, and now you see Planet of the Apes. This was interesting, Genesis 25:27. Let's read that. LAPD uses spit for the sidewalk to tie a suspect to 2 killings. You talk about a cunning hunter.
Book of Genesis chapter 25, verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field.
Man of the field, man of the world, a cunning hunter, which lets you know that he has the instinctive nature to hunt. He's developed technologies, he's developed all kind of weaponry that he can use to hunt. Now, the question is, you can find this cat, and the deal was, I'll read a little bit of it. It says, authorities trailing a man suspected of sexually assaulting and killing 2 young women who disappeared from their Los Angeles neighborhoods used his DNA to tie him to the 2011 crimes after he spit on the sidewalk. Giovanni Boris, 32, was identified as the suspect in the slayings of Michelle Lozano, 17, and Brianna Guzman, 22, after investigators used a controversial DNA testing technique known as familiar DNA testing, Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck said. So, they're trying to hunt down this guy. They find some spit on the ground, swap it up, match it up with his DNA, boom, he's caught. Meanwhile, Latrice Richardson, I don't know if anybody's heard of this sister, but she was in a restaurant in Malibu. I think this was, what year was it? I think it was 2009. Went to a restaurant in Malibu. No, that's when they found her body. 2009, went to Malibu, a restaurant in Malibu. They said she started acting irrational, wilding out in the restaurant and all of that. Okay. They called the police because she couldn't pay her bill. Called the police show up, drug tested the whole night, said there's no evidence of her being intoxicated, nothing. They still arrested her for not paying the bill. Take her to the jail out in Calabasas. Apparently she has some sort of bipolar disorder. Parents and everybody said, don't release her if she's not mentally stable, she ain't right. They let her go. She comes up missing. Took 9 months for them to find the body. Then when they did, she was naked, body had decomposed, she was mummified and the whole nine. They said they ain't find no blood trauma, no stab wounds, no gunshots, nothing. Now if you can find a man from spit on the ground, but you can't find nothing that ties any foul play to the system. Now the parents sued the police department, all that. They both won like $1 million for negligence and all of that. And they say no foul play was involved. But why are you paying the parents then? If you didn't do nothing wrong, but you paid the parents then. Last person she was with was a policeman that dropped her off. To this day, they still don't know. She was found in 2010. To this day, they still don't know what happened to her. And they said, no foul play, nothing wrong, move along, we paid the family, it's over with. But he's got the cunning hunting skills to find out who did it, but he ain't gonna do it because he's guilty. Read Psalm 73 and 19. This is interesting. Panic and chaos erupt over emotionally disturbed woman on the B train near Central Park. Some woman on the train, an emotionally disturbed woman, freaked people out on the subway and they fled the car, leading riders and other cars to do the same. That led to total panic with rumors of a knife attack and riders stampeding out of the train. No weapon was found and no one was hurt. Why are people panicking so much? What is everybody running scared for? Read that.
Psalm 73, verse 19. How are they brought into desolation, as in a moment. They are utterly consumed with terror.
See, people are consumed with the thought of terrorism. They are consumed with the thought of being harmed. As you see, people driving vans on the London Bridge and burning up buildings and shooting people in broad day. All they had to hear was, "She's crazy." A whole train load of people ran like they was directly in danger or something. They didn't even know what happened. They just hear, "Run!" Everybody running. Cause a mass hysteria and panic. Then they get the woman, she had no weapon, no nothing. She was fine. And it was like, damn, why is everybody tripping? Why is everybody so... Because of the environment, because of the climate, because of the spirit that's out there in the world. Everybody's not blind to it. Everybody thinking the next thing that go on, and people was tweeting, and that's what they was getting into. Not sure what's going on. Police have been called to the scene. Looks like panic. It's going down. And ain't nothing really going down but a false report. But it lets you know the climate and the spirit of the world and how people is on edge, and everybody's expecting and waiting for something big to go down. For my Egyptologists, Kemetic brothers and sisters, remember this? Plague of lice is back in modern Egypt. Many U.S. remember whispering about the classmate who left school early because they had lice, the invasive bug that make scalps their homes. The unlucky banished kid considered dirty and unkept, an object of our pity and disgust. Reading on, it's going to talk about the different ways that lice comes around. But what I wanted to read was a part in there that talked about the Journal of Medical Etymology found 98% of hen lice collected in 48 states were resistant to lice treatment products. So now they're becoming like super lice. More drug resistant, more harder to get rid of. 48 states, so 98% of them, you can't just go get the shampoo and it's good. So now you see where the plague is starting to even become more stronger. So it ain't the same like it used to be. They're coming back with a vengeance. I'm going to close out with this one. The disease killing white Americans goes way deeper than opiates. You know that Esau is dying off. Rapid rates. Okay, so when the Most High said, I'm going to take vengeance on them, Esau is going to be stubble. Esau have I hated, then you wonder why. Statistically, they're dying off faster than all other nations. And it said it's going way deeper than opiates. But I'm going to read a little bit. In rich countries, death rates are supposed to decline, but in the past decade and a half, middle-aged white Americans have actually been dying faster. Princeton economist and Case and Angus, go ahead, clap up. Angus Deaton first pointed out this disturbing trend in 2015 study that highlighted 3 diseases of despair: drugs, drinking, and suicide. Yep. Now, when you read those 3 things, that's depression. That's white guilt. Okay? So when you say, I gotta run the drugs, drinking, suicide, what's eating them up? This is their kingdom. You got it all. Why are you running to all of these different methods to kill yourself? That's the spirit of the Most High, that white guilt kicking in. They can't take it. On Thursday, the pair released a deeper analysis that clears up one of the biggest misconceptions about their earlier research. The problem of dying whites can't only be blamed on rising rates of drug overdoses, suicides, and chronic alcoholism. They say more and more middle-aged white Americans are dying for all kinds of reasons, and the underlying issue may have less to do with opiates and more to do with how society is left behind the working class. Oh, poor them. They're being left behind. White trash, trailer park, okay? That's what we're talking about. They get caught up. So they run into the opiate and they try to steer it away and say, well, it's not the drugs. In other words, they're still encouraging the drug use, but they're saying, help us out with the money. Let us get back on top again. Let us be equal. But no, they gotta be casualties of war. So that they can be, so it can be said, not all white people are successful. All of us ain't rich. Look at Eminem, 8 Mile. He came from the trailers. Yeah, right. So we're seeing what they're doing. They're running to the bottles, to the pills, to everything they can to try to escape the inevitable, which is their ultimate destruction and dethroning out of this kingdom. Okay? So with that, I'm going to close out. Is there any closing questions? Go ahead, Nazar. The mic.
So, me and a couple of Jakes we were talking about, so the romper situation, you know those dicky jumpsuits?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you wear a dicky jumpsuit, somebody might be like, oh man, you got a romper on. But dicky jumpsuits, that's always been a bad thing for us mechanics, people, and
That ain't a romper.
so it's not the same, but even though it's still a one piece, I guess just the shorts and it being tight makes it a romper.
Let's be clear, okay? If it's a mechanic suit, the zip-up suit, the flight suit, and all the other stuff that you gotta use for work and things of that nature, not necessarily fashion, shorts and all of that going out there and making a display, and don't think just because it's dicky, because we used to wear khakis and all of that, this masculine, no. It's the same thing. But if you're using it for work and things of that nature, I don't know no man walking around with a bodysuit on. You wear a bodysuit, something's wrong. There should be no man walking around with a bodysuit on. There's a problem there. So if it's for work, you're a mechanic, you're working in attics, you're working in around chemicals and stuff like that, where you got to put on a hazmat suit and all that, okay. You're not fashionably out there promoting a feminine garment. And it's very differently structured than the ones that they're out there promoting and wearing. So it's a difference between the two. You just got to use wisdom and really understand what's happening. All right?
Don't you wear clothes over your clothes?
Usually, yeah. All right. So with that, I'm going to close out.